I grew up in Perry County. A lot of rolling hills, streams, creeks.
I loved exploring. We'd go around the whole farm, and every day we would be muddy when we come home.
The thing I like most is just the peace, being able to walk outside and listen to the wind.
This is my little corner of the world, and I can just be free to relax and just enjoy whatever my kids are doing at the time.
With all the trees, it's so beautiful in the fall, seeing all the leaves and different changing colors.
We take nights where we just come out and throw blankets in the yard, and we count the shooting stars, and we talk and we laugh. We do all of it as a family.
I like living on the farm because there's a lot of fun things to do here.
Yeah, we like to go out and fish down at the pond. I'm not the best fisher. I like to eat the fish though. That's my favorite part.
I hope that when the kids leave the farm, they remember the country and just the beauty of nature and being a close family.
Educated at Columbia University, Michael J. Rosen is an acclaimed author of literature for both adults and young readers.
Our farm is my attempt to record an oral history of one family here in Perry County that is making a life on a farm. When I set out to do the book, I wanted it to give a clear and unbiased view of what a contemporary farm family does, how their life works. If you go to the library, there was nothing that expressed vividly the reality of an enormous contingent of American life.
It was a part of America Michael wanted to experience. After 40 years of urban living, it was time for a change. Driven by curiosity, an interest in zoology, and a lifelong love of nature, there was no question of his chosen destination.
I wanted to spend as much of my adult life as I could in the country. The Bennetts were one of the first families I met, and they helped me in some ways settle into the country. So when I was looking for a family that I might be able to document, the Bennetts came to mind.
He approached me about the book, and I immediately thought it was an awesome idea. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe he had chosen my family.
Committing to the project would mean multiple interviews and about 2,000 photographs over the course of 4 seasons on the farm. A big commitment for an already busy family.
My initial response was absolutely not, because I don't have time to pose when I'm working. And my wife disagreed with that.
I said, I'm sorry, too late. I already said yes. And then Michael and Dave sat down and talked.
He basically said, I don't care what you think. I want to know what your kids think. And he assured me that he wouldn't be in my way. So that's how it all got started.
The Bennett farm is about 150 acres here in the foothills of the Appalachians. There are about 20 acres that need mowing, and that's where the alfalfa is raised for the 30 or so head of cattle that they keep in the cow-calf operation. So on the farm here, it's Becky and Dave and their 5 kids: Caleb, Chase, Kane, Gray, and Allie.
I have 3 brothers and 1 sister, and I'm the oldest.
I have 3 older brothers. They're all older than me, and it's sometimes a rough time, but I get through.
He should be just tough as nails when he grows up.
Well, I have a younger sister. Her name is Allie. She's 7. What you doing, Allie?
Painting stars.
Looks good. Can I help?
No.
If she does get on my nerves, my brothers are always there to back her up.
The more brothers you have, the less chores you have, but we fight a lot.
Hey, I was watching this, Kane.
Dude, I'm not watching this.
If I get mad at them, I can't really do anything about it because they're all much bigger than me.
You have to work to get along with the people you live with, and that's kind of part of being separated from the outside community. You're just right here on the farm, and you have to learn to get along.
Dave Bennett owns a plumbing business in town, but his true passion is his family and the land they live on.
There's an old saying, it is a good thing for the American public that farming is a disease and not an occupation. If you relied on farming to make money, you'd never do it. But when you grow up doing it, you have the desire to work with cattle or to grow crops or to do whatever it is. I could spend the time I spend farming doing something else and make more money, but I can't stop farming, so I make my living plumbing and we live our lives farming.
With their dogs as companions, the Bennett kids live much of their lives outdoors.
If they decide to go fishing, they basically have to go, turn over a couple rocks, find some fishing worms, and jump down to the pond, and they're there.
We have some pretty big fish in our pond, too.
For me personally, when I see them doing it, I think of what I'm going to see in the frying pan later that night, because I love to eat fish, so it's more food off the farm, and that's how I look at it.
And then, of course, in the summer, we like to swim in it.
They swam way before it was warm enough. I thought they were crazy, but they loved it.
I watched my dad. He would do backflips off of it and stuff, and eventually I tried it, and I got the hang of it, and now I'm really good at doing backflips and front flips off the swing.
You get it, you walk up the stairs, and you swing off and let go.
I love swimming in the summer. You can come home, and if you're all hot and sweaty, if you've been working, all my family will just get in their swimming trunks and go jump in the pond and listen to music. It's always a good time.
For curious minds, the wonders of nature lie just beyond the Bennett's front door.
In the creek or on the driveway or in the woods, we're always seeing interesting things you'd hardly ever see in the city, at least alive. Like we have snapping turtles, box turtles, painted turtles, tree frogs, and bullfrogs.
We see coyotes, more now than we used to. They're usually quiet and you don't hear them, but sometimes at night you can hear them talking to one another.
Every single day of the year, the farm demands attention. Animals need tended. Chores need completed. There is time to explore, discover, and reflect. But on the farm, work happens. Here, there is no escape from responsibility.
I think the environment of a farm just creates a responsibility and awareness of the choices you make go beyond just your own life. The choices my kids make, whether they remember to take care of the dogs or whether they're out there to help with the farm chores.
The dogs kind of depend on us because they can't feed themselves, and we have to feed and water them. I like that you get to pet all the dogs when you're down there, and it's mostly the only thing I like about it.
My main responsibility would probably be taking care of the cattle, like just feeding them throughout the winter, and any animals that we have inside the barn, I need to make sure that they're fed and watered and their pens are kept, and that's probably my favorite thing to do too, so it's not really too much of a chore.
Pretty much Anything that needs done on the farm, be it running fence, mowing hay, baling, I'm capable of being able to do it.
The kids had this amazing information of just the seasonal changes, what happens to the animals and their needs. There's just so much information that they learn about the operation of the farm. The kids know that stuff.
They also know that the farm can be a dangerous place.
One cow, number 8, pushed my dad down this summer. Dad took along a bucket of grain to occupy number 8 while he walked over to her new calf. A cow will usually eat and ignore Dad while he makes sure the calf is healthy and tags it. But number 8's calf let out a bawl and her mother charged Dad and knocked him over.
She got me right in the center of my chest with her head, and I fell right over. But I was able to kick at the cow with my boots and scramble under the fence before she could kick me or trample me. You don't want 3/4 of a ton of any cow standing on you.
Yeah, we're selling number 8 this year.
While farmers understand the risks, the general public is usually surprised to learn that farm work is one of the 5 most dangerous occupations in the United States.
Sometimes the farm life is very fast-paced, gotta get things done, but Dad and Mom have always tried to explain to us that there's no hurrying safety. We can replace a tractor, we can replace a baler, a mower. We can't replace you.
There's a lot of things on a farm that can hurt kids and it's in danger to them, and you have to be, it's a conversation you have when you sit at the dinner table.
It's just like when you're working with the cattle and you're in there and you think you know the cows, don't trust them. In 1 second, they can knock you over, they can stomp on you. When you're moving them around, when you're working with them, treat them like what they are. Don't trust them. Be cautious.
To help work their cattle, the Bennetts had a border collie named Angus.
He was just an amazing dog. Angus lived to serve us working with cattle. It was a special relationship. But it's also a relationship that when you lose that animal, it makes it a little harder to bear because it's almost like losing a family member.
I remember Dave telling me that, in fact, when something, happens, when a calf is stillborn or when one of the dogs died, it was important that the kids participate in that, not in any sort of grim way, but in a way that just helps them accept the reality of the life cycle.
When Angus was dying, he took his front legs, that was all that he could move, and climbed up onto my dad's feet. But he was looking over at the cows, down at a new calf, and my dad knew he wouldn't ever be able to see the cows again.
Angus lived for those cows. He wouldn't have been Angus without working his cows.
That's how we knew it was the end.
We buried the dog on our property. It was pouring rain. Chase and I dug a grave, and our shovel stuck in the mud, sucking each time we lifted up some earth. We buried him in one of the blankets he used to sleep on, and we're planting a tree over top of the site.
One of the things about living in the country is the circle of the family. Partly they're isolated. Partly there aren't a lot of options that maybe city kids would have in terms of a neighborhood, a place to hang out. So the 7 members of this family spend a lot of time together.
It's the family behind the farm, the bonds and the closeness that we have is something that I don't think a lot of families have. And I would like to make sure that I keep that with me all my life.
Some memories dry up and are lost to the winds of time. Other memories span generations, living on as well-told stories.
I remember the first time Dave was telling me this. I remember the first time we made silage and the kids came home and saw all these, amazing bales wrapped in white. And, what did they always do on the round bales? But, jump on them and climb on them, run on them.
Me and Caleb had poked one on accident, and it had made a sound. It had made, as we had said, a farting noise.
The whole idea is that they're airtight.
And so we kept doing this to all of the bales, and Dad comes down over the hill, and we go, "Hey, Dad, listen to this. It makes a funny noise." And we went to bed that night with sore butts, and yeah, he was not a happy camper.
And so they went out with duct tape after dinner and duct taped all of the holes shut.
With 5 kids and a farm, there's never a dull moment. The range of responsibilities of a wife, it kind of takes on a whole new meaning when you're a farm wife.
For Becky Bennett, that means a lot of time behind the wheel.
There's nothing out in the country that's close by. We have a few very small stores, but if you want to go grocery shopping, you drive 20, 25 minutes. If you want to go to the movies, you drive 25 minutes. That's just the way it is. Just about everybody we know owns at least one 4-wheel drive vehicle. You just about have to out in the country. With the snow we had recently, we missed 2 weeks of school because they just couldn't get them plowed enough to have school.
Which afforded the Bennett siblings even more time together. If strong bonds are forged by shared experiences, then the fields and streams of the Bennett farm are where father and sons grow closer.
As an author, I had to think clearly about the issues around hunting. And I knew that kids, in the city who perhaps don't eat meat or don't go hunting, I wanted them to try to understand that, particularly from the Bennett's perspective, it was a way of putting meat on the table, a way of population control. And it wasn't about some happy-go-lucky, completely oblivious killing of things.
When I was young, I could hardly sleep the night before deer season opened, so I anticipated that morning. No school, the first chance to go out, but I think a lot of people think hunters don't like deer, or whatever animal they're hunting. But I have a great respect for these animals. Yes, there are too many deer, the herds need to be thinned, but I don't want any animal to suffer. I want a clean shot that drops the animal quickly, and we eat almost everything we kill, sharing the meat with family and friends.
All the boys want to be with their dad, and you don't ever get any time to just sit down talking with him. You go out hunting with him, it's a chance for you to be one-on-one with your dad.
We're together, and we spend time talking about things, even while we're hunting, that normally we won't take the time to talk about in everyday life. So we do enjoy the time that we spend together and the hunt itself.
A good hunting season will provide a freezer full of venison.
My favorite is probably deer jerky, full jerky. I love it. It's so good, and it hurts your teeth sometimes when you jerk too hard because it's hard to rip.
On the Bennett farm, hunting puts food on the table. It's a rite of passage, and it elevates man's best friend to an even higher status.
You have family pets, and then you have your pet, your hunting pet, your hunting dog. It's your companion. You develop a tight bond with those dogs, and I have one in particular that I've raised since he was a pup. You can ask other people to go hunting with you. They say, yeah, I'll go with you. And then they wake up and it's raining or it's snowing, and they don't show up. Well, your dog's going with you. Whether the weather's good or bad, he's going to be there. His name's Bo. He's a little beagle. He got 3 legs.
One year while the Bennetts were on vacation, Bo got loose. 2 weeks after they returned, there was still no sign of the dog.
Well, then somebody called and said, you guys missing a beagle?
You think you found him?
He's like, well, you might just want to bring something over and put him down because he's in bad shape.
That's not good. Okay. And where are you?
1221 Geo Ice Road, just north of Glenford.
Okay, I know where that is. All right, we will be right there. Thank you for calling.
We'll be be waiting out front.
One leg was badly mauled. The kids pleaded for the dog's life. They volunteered their own money to pay for the life-saving amputation.
As far as he knows, every dog should have 3 legs. Every other dog's wrong. He's the one that's right. And he's turned out to be one of the best dogs we have ever owned for rabbit hunting. He is just one of the best.
Rabbits can run up to 15 miles an hour, and they can jump in a single bound at least 10 feet, sometimes a lot more. I'm not sure how fast a beagle runs, let alone a 3-legged beagle.
I won't cook them unless the boys skin them first. Then I can make a rabbit stew. 2 or 3 rabbits will be a meal for everyone, and the kids eat pretty much everything I put on the table without thinking twice about it. They know whatever it is we're eating, chicken, cow, rabbit, turkey, fish, it's probably come from the farm.
The smell of the earth after a spring rain. The vivid display of autumn leaves. The call of the wood thrush. Rural life is a feast for the senses.
You are zoomed in on the sounds. You're acutely aware of birdsong, of the way the stream is running, of the way that the cows are baying in the distance, or the dogs barking.
But each passing year brings more sounds, sounds that signal the Bennett's world is changing.
When you come out to a place like this in the country, to most people it is very unpopulated. But compared to when I was a kid, it's much more heavily populated now than it was then. The fellow that I originally started farming with, he told me that when he would coon hunt at night, throughout the entire countryside, you would never see a light. And today, you really can't find an area like that.
As one season flows seamlessly into the next, the Bennetts are attuned to the subtle signs of change. They also recognize that the course of rural life is changing in ways that could forever erode the landscape they've grown to cherish.
The odds are likely my grandchildren won't even know a farm lifestyle because things change so rapidly.
The number of farms is decreasing, but across America, over 2 million farms remain, and farm families continue to live their lives close to nature and close to the land.
I wanted kids who are rural to find themselves in a book because they're not written about. They're not between the lines of any story. And I wanted kids in the city who have no idea what it must be like, and to try to understand that however distant that other world seems, to how you live your life, it may only be a county away. The fundamental nature of family farming is represented there, and I wanted to honor that viable, risky, wonderful, connected existence.
Farming isn't just about work. It's about a journey we take. It's about being a family.